Here we go. We are jumping right over here real quick before I shine up the truck and everything, because after I shine it up, I can't show this flaw for running your massive wide wheels right here. 22 by 14s with 76 offset. But it rained yesterday for only about 5 minutes, and this is what happens with the massive offset. And it just, I mean, it's just ridiculous. So you constantly have to keep cleaning your vehicle every single time it even looks like a cloud's in the sky. You're gonna have to clean them up. Which, I mean, luckily I love detailing my truck, but this is kind of crazy. Let's say it rains, you know, once a week, once every 2 to 3 days, you're detailing your truck a ridiculous amount. Secret location for filming, and of course the cops are here. Here we go, everyone. As you can see, we are here in the truck. It's finally nice and detailed. I believe in the editing I went ahead and put the first flaw because the truck was just filthy, because it rained for about 2 minutes and I had to drive home in it, and the truck was just absolutely filthy. But we got it all shined up and looking pretty once again. But while we were already at it, I went ahead and turned the wheels here so you all can see the next issue. All right, so a good thing is Fury Tires now has a tire wide enough to actually do your 14-inch wide wheels and everything, which I love, because I would not be running this setup if I didn't or if I had to stretch the tire. I would not have done it. This is a daily driver. I have my kids in it all the time. I would not do it if I had to stretch the tire. But now, luckily, as you can see, which is obviously isn't a bad thing, but you have your Furies 1450s on the 22s now, so you don't have to stretch it, and I think that's awesome. It's the only reason why I was okay with running this setup, because the setup before, it did have stretch tires, and the guy even told me he popped the beads on 2 different wheels, so that was just way too sketchy for me. But luckily Fury has stepped up the game, and I will be honest, now we can go into some of the issues with it and then get to the rest of the good things about it, other than you don't have to stretch your tire anymore. But these Fury tires are extremely soft. They are mud trained, so they're extremely soft. Just pulling in and out of my driveway, you see black marks everywhere, because my driveway is a pretty big steep hill, and it just leaves marks everywhere. And then even if you're on the interstate, which I don't know if anybody's seen from the last video, but where I took a trip 10 hours to basically Canada and 10 hours back, you can see the tire melting, and there's just black all over through here from the actual tire being ate up from such a long interstate run. Then to the next issue. These are a negative 76 offset, so they stick out ridiculously wide on top of the 14s. But a lot of people have the bumper clearance issue right there, which I have a bumper spacer, so I've not run into any issues. But if you go ahead and walk right over here to the other side, which I know it's in the shade, but you can see how close it is, which I'm leveled out. It is just a baby level. It's only a 1.5-inch level, but you can see how close I am. Obviously the tire will turn a little bit more when the truck's on and the power steering's working and everything, but it is still extremely close. The only time it does rub for me though is whenever I'm on a or I'm articulating at all or anything, you know, the suspension is flexed out or something, then yes, it'll rub at full turn. But just driving down a flat straight road or anything, or a flat road, I'm sorry, it won't rub at all. But you see, it's only a 33-inch tire, and it is still that close. That's the only reason why I'm not running the 35s. I actually have a set of 37s for it, but as soon as my 1972 is done, I will go ahead and throw the 37s on there, because it is going back up into the air. As you can tell from right here, the tires do stick out a ton, which is another con to it, which it gives you the stance. Everybody loves the look. This truck is breaking necks left and right compared to the setup I had on it before with the black set of these wheels. Without, they's only 10 inches wide, and they were also 20s, but they only stuck out about an inch, so there's no issues. But this does break necks. But I have had a cop on the interstate crazy story. I will get to that later on the actual story about that near the end of the video. But the cop actually complimented me on the setup and ended up not doing anything about it, which blew my mind because I was in Kentucky, and I know Kentucky's had some issues, especially they told my dad at one point in time he wasn't no longer allowed to drive in the state. But you do have the offset that you're looking for. And another good thing that I went ahead and got this set up for is whenever I do lift it, I won't need wheel spacers because the offset is so much. Because, you know, once you lift it, you can't have the wheels tucked under or anything. It just looks really funny, almost like you're skipping leg day. And or you have to worry about the rollover factor or anything. You take a quick turn, and if your tires are tucked underneath and you're sitting on, let's say, an 8 to 10 inch lift, dude, that thing's rolling. It's gone. It's toast. Here's one more thing to think about. Whenever you're running such a heavy wheel, and especially if you go up above the 33s, all these components are going to wear out 10 times faster. People don't even think about that, so expect a whole lot more maintenance money whenever running a setup like this. Yes, and those little brakes right there, they are really big brakes, but when you're running a setup this heavy, especially when I lift it and throw bigger tires on it, you're gonna have to upgrade the braking system just so it can stop like it needs to stop. Here's your prime example of how dirty your truck will be afterwards. I literally just cleaned this truck, and I drove 5 miles from my house. You see everything already getting slung up on it, which eventually it will have fender flares on it again, or at least some really ridiculously nice mud flaps. I can't remember the company that makes the really cool ones to where they can come down and put an American flag on them and everything, or, you know, like my military branch on there, or something to be unique and different from everyone else. There we go. I did not realize there was that many issues with running this setup until I actually went through it in this video. But honestly, the setup works for me for right now, especially for what the futures are for this truck, so we're going to keep it unless I may actually get rid of the chrome. I may do a little bit different route than chrome. So eventually I may even just trade this setup. I have no idea, because typically a lot of the things you see on this is people want it, so they trade me. But the issue with the police officer when I was out of state, it was crazy. If you look at any of my older videos, you'll see I had the soft top camper top on there, and I unzipped the windows a little too much because we had the dogs back there, and so it started flapping around. I unzipped the windows to get better air circulation through there, and that didn't quite work out for me, so I pulled over to the side of the road, you know, middle of the long stretch of interstate, pulled over, did that and everything. But then the issue was I had the keys in my pocket, my wife was in the truck, keys in my pocket, and like as I'm fumbling around back there with the dogs and trying not to let them get out while we're beside of interstate, of course, and I'm messing with it on the inside and everything. And the next thing I know, I accidentally set off the truck alarm, and then so I go ahead and do that, and then then I hear my wife talking to someone. Like, is she talking on the phone, on speakerphone or something? Why do I hear this other person's voice so much? So then I kind of looked through, you know, the tinted plastic on the top or whatever, and realized there's a state trooper sitting there, or sitting there trying to talk to my wife. I'm like, ah, crap. So I'm back here just fumbling around looking like I'm just up to something. And then, you know, I slowly try to ease my way out of the back window of the top, you know, looking like I'm trying to sneak in and out, as he walks around and catches me getting out. And I had to explain to him, hey, sorry, my dogs are in here. I didn't want anything to happen to it because my dogs are back here and all that stuff. And, you know, and I still don't know the full story at this point in time. So he's like, oh, no worries. I was just radioing that there was an accident over here. I want to make sure you weren't the accident or whatever. I was like, oh, no, sir, just worried about my dogs. Got 2 great dogs and I don't want anything to happen to them, so I try to fix my top. And then, you know, he starts commenting on it, oh, I've never seen anything this fancy on a Platinum. I was like, oh yeah, you know, and I'm worried about possibly getting a ticket or something because I don't know how strict Kentucky is about, you know, wide offset. So I'm like, oh yeah, literally, which I did. I literally just put the setup on the day before. But I was like, yeah, I just put the setup on. Don't really know if I like it yet or not because I've never done chrome or extremely wide wheels, and I'm not really sure if I like it. If I do like it, I'm obviously going to have to put fender flares or, you know, mud flaps on there to make sure nothing, you know, sticks out or gets slung. So, oh, okay, yeah. And then complimented the truck a few more times saying it looked really good. And then he's like, all right, well, just make sure y'all are safe and I want y'all to have a good day. It's like, oh, I greatly appreciate it, sir. Yes, everything's good to go here. Stay safe out there, sir. Jump in the car. Then my wife goes over to me. Yeah, by the way, you know, he pulled up when you had the doors locked. Accidentally locked them. You had the doors locked, so he pulls up, you know, you're not in the driver's seat. He comes over to your driver's side, knocks on the window, and yes, I have pretty dark tint, and I don't know Kentucky's laws on that either. And apparently he's knocking on my window trying to get me to roll down the window. I'm in the back of the truck, And then he walks around to my wife's side of the truck, and then the doors are locked, so she can't get him to unlock because it would have set off the alarm or whatever. But then as she realizes I'm already setting off the truck alarm at this time, you know, fumbling around in the back of the truck, I accidentally hit the panic button, and this is why he's standing at her window trying to get her to roll down the window, and she can't because she doesn't have the keys or anything. So then after I set off the alarm, I went ahead unintentionally, you know, unlocked the truck to where then she could actually open the door for the police officer. So, you know, just literally everything possible happened bad in that scenario, except he loved the truck. And, you know, I did make the comments of I will be setting up, you know, change this up to where I do have mud flap stuff, so I'm just not slinging rocks and other people don't have to worry about getting hit by anything my truck's throwing up. But it's just a crazy scenario, and it happened right after I put a massive offset on the truck. But I do love the setup, I do love everything about it, and I'm actually about to pull the truck in the garage and upgrade the brake system, because that is one thing, but I really didn't realize how many issues you really have if you want to run this setup for an extremely long time. But then here in right after this, I'm going to go throw the awesome updates for the 1972 POWERCHOKE, and I will let it end from there. But next week on the 72 POWERCHOKE, we should have ridiculous gains, and I'm hoping a startup within the next week or two. But anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a big thumbs up. Stopping by for the first time, please subscribe. You all have a great day. There we go. As you can tell, the notching has started, and I was told that it most likely is fitting right now. Just not 100% sure just yet because he's not here to tell me. He's on his lunch break, but I kind of left work early to get some extra things done. And looky there at that. She is getting welded up, which this is a massive part for us. It's awesome. Oh, what? Go to the other side, see how it looks. There we go. She is put back together. Obviously, still have to put the guss behind it and weld in the guss to re-secure all of it and everything, make sure everything's good to go. And that side just has a little bit more down at the bottom part over there that still needs to be welded. And then guss obviously on both sides.